I cannot believe they are doing this to us. I am literally sitting here in the dark, typing furiously on my keyboard at 2 a.m. because I just finished watching the latest episode of General Hospital and then made the fatal mistake of checking Instagram before going to sleep. Why do I do this to myself? Seriously, why do I let this show dictate my emotional state? I have been watching this soap religiously since 2015, and I swear, sometimes I feel like the writers are personally attacking my sanity. We need to talk about Marco Rios. We need to talk about Adrian Achondo. And we absolutely positively need to talk about that knife Ross Cullum is hiding behind his back. I am shaking. I am actually physically shaking with rage and anxiety because it feels like we are about to lose one of the most compelling characters they've introduced in the last year. Right when his storyline was hitting its absolute peak. Am I the only one who feels like this is a massive, unforgivable mistake? Let me back up because I am getting way too ahead of myself here and my thoughts are running a mile a minute. Okay, back to the point. Adrian Achondo, the absolute gem who plays Marco, posted this massive emotional ode to Marco on his Instagram today. It was acknowledging his 1-year anniversary on the show, and guys, it read like a eulogy. It really truly did. He posted this beautiful photo of Marco from a recent scene, and the caption was just, it was a lot to process. He talked about how he's filmed 75 episodes over the past year, which is wild to think about because it feels like he just got to Port Charles yesterday, and yet he's completely integrated into the canvas. He talked about all the lessons he's learned, how entering the GH universe completely changed his life, how nervous he was on his first day, and how quickly he had to learn to prep his lines. He called the whole experience a roller coaster ride, but said he was in great hands. And honestly, that sounds like a goodbye. It sounds exactly like the kind of post an actor makes when they've just cleaned out their dressing room, hugged the crew, and driven off the CBS lot for the last time. But wait, it gets so much worse. Because of course I immediately went to the comments section to see if anyone was going to tell me I was overreacting. Spoiler alert, I am not overreacting. The comments basically confirmed my absolute worst fears. Van Hansis, who has been absolutely killing it in his scenes with Adrian, left 3 hand clap emojis, a heart emoji, and a fire emoji. Rory Gibson was in there with hand claps. Tanisha Harper wrote, yay. Which, okay, Tanisha read the room. We are mourning a potential fictional death here. Nazanin Contractor commented Marco 4 EVA, which is sweet, but also kind of sounds like rest in peace, Marco. And then Carlo Rota, who plays Jen Sidwell, Marco's absolutely vile, irredeemable monster of a father, wrote, my sweet and lovely son. I mean, Carlo was a sweetheart in real life, but seeing Jen Sidwell's alter ego say that just twisted the knife. Pun fully intended, considering what Ross Cullum is doing on our screens right now. And then came the nail in the coffin. Eva LaRue, Eva freaking LaRue, who played Marco's mom and who we all adore, dropped into the comments and completely shattered my last remaining shred of denial. She wrote, love you, Mijo. You've proven time and again you are capable of great things. On to the next great thing. On to the next great thing? Are you kidding me right now? You don't say on to the next great thing to someone who is showing up to work on Monday to film scenes with Lucas Jones. You say that to someone whose contract just ended and whose character is currently bleeding out on the floor of a Port Charles law office. I know neither the show nor Adrian has officially confirmed his exit, but come on. The writing is literally on the wall, or in this case, on the Instagram feed. I am so frustrated I could scream into a pillow. Let's talk about the actual show for a second, because the on-screen build-up to this potential demise has been nothing short of a masterclass in giving me high blood pressure. Marco has been on this incredible redemption arc lately. He started out so entangled in his father's dark, twisted web, but his dynamic with Lucas has completely changed him for the better. Marco agreed to help Lucas set Britt Westbourne free from this horrific hostage situation with her Huntington's medication. He agreed to steal the meds from the Windermere safe so Lucas could reverse engineer them. That is hero behavior. That is the exact kind of character growth we beg for on this soap. And what is his reward? Getting caught. Not once, but twice. First by that absolute weasel Pascal, who I have hated since the moment he slithered onto our screens, and now by Ross Cullum. I mean, can we just pause and talk about Marco's sheer blinding naivety for a second? I love the guy, but sometimes I just want to reach through my television screen and shake him. He actually believed that if he got caught, his father would protect him. Jen Sidwell. Protect someone out of the goodness of his heart, Marco honey. Your dad is currently taunting Mayor Laura Collins and forcing her to do his bidding like she's his personal puppet. Your dad is supplying Willow Kane with an undetectable paralytic so she can keep Drew Kane trapped in a locked-in state. Jen Sidwell does not care about anyone but Jen Sidwell. He might view Marco as a possession, but he is not going to risk his entire cold fusion. 5 poppies WSB Empire just because Ross Cullum gets a little stab happy. Marco put way too much faith in his bloodline, and it is going to cost him his life. Which brings me to the absolute terror that is Ross Cullum. I have been watching GH for years, and we have had some terrifying villains. Faison, Helena, Cassadine, Ryan, Chamberlain, you name it. But Ross Cullum, there is something so deeply unsettling about a dirty WSB head who operates in the shadows and just casually decides who lives. And dies without batting an eye. When Pascal found out about the missing medication doses and alerted Cullum, my stomach completely dropped. I knew Marco was on borrowed time right then and there. Britt literally warned Lucas on Pier 55 that Cullum is arguably even more sinister and dangerous than Sidwell. And Britt knows a thing or two about dangerous men. She is literally the daughter of Cesar Faison. If Britt Westbourne is terrified of you, you are a certified nightmare walking among the living. And that brings us to the Tuesday, March 24th episode, The Ambush. The Law Office. I am going to be seeing that scene in my nightmares for weeks. Marco is just standing there, probably thinking he's pulled off the ultimate heist. He successfully delivered the stolen vials to Lucas. He thinks he's won. He thinks he's going to be the hero who saves Britt's life and proves he's a good man. And then Cullum just appears out of nowhere. The lighting in that scene was so dark, so ominous, and the camera angle showing the knife hidden behind Cullum's back while he's talking to Marco chills. Literal chills all over my body. It was like watching a horror movie where you're screaming at the screen, he's behind you. He has a weapon, but the character can't hear you. Marco's face when he realized he was trapped. Adrian Achondo acted the hell out of that scene, and if it's his last, he went out giving a phenomenal performance. But why, GH writers, why do you always do this? Remember when they tried this exact same trope with past characters? They build up a character, make us fall in love with them, give them a romance, or a deep friendship that we root for, and then just brutally murder them for shock value. It didn't work then, and it definitely doesn't work now. We finally have Marco breaking away from his father's toxic legacy. We finally have him doing something selfless for Britt and Lucas. And your master plan is to have a rogue WSB agent slice him up in a law office on a random Tuesday. It feels so incredibly cheap. It feels like a massive waste of 75 episodes of character development. I know some people are loving this dark, gritty WSB storyline, but personally, I am exhausted by the constant tragedy. We need some light in Port Charles. And think about the ripple effects. Think about what this means for Britt. Poor Britt is already having the absolute worst week of her life. She was supposed to escape to Canada with Jason Morgan. She had her bags packed in the room above Bobby's. She was ready to leave all this Sidwell and Cullum nightmare behind once and for all. But no. Dante Falconeri had to go and corner Jason in the gym parking lot and arrest him on a WSB warrant, right in front of Danny. So now Britt has no Jason to protect her, no escape plan, and the guy who just risked his life to get her the medication is about to be murdered. Oh, and Jack Brennan is running around frantically trying to find Britt to warn her that her safety is compromised. It is all falling apart at the seams. If Marco dies, the guilt is going to absolutely destroy Britt and Lucas. Actually, you know what? Let me contradict myself for a second, because my brain is spinning and I'm trying to make sense of this mess. Maybe Marco dying is the catalyst we need. Maybe Marco bleeding out in that law office is what finally pushes Jen Sidwell over the edge. Think about it. Sidwell is a psychopath, yes, but Marco is his son. If Cullum kills Marco, maybe Sidwell turns his entire criminal empire against Cullum. Maybe we get a massive villain-on-villain war that ends up taking both of them out and freeing Port Charles from this WSB corruption once and for all. If Marco's death is the match that lights that powder keg, maybe it's not a total waste. Wait, no. Listen to me trying to rationalize murder just to make the plot move forward. I take it back. I don't want a villain war. I want Marco alive and healthy and going on dates with people who aren't trying to kill him. And what about Lucas? Lucas Jones has been through enough trauma to last 3 lifetimes. He finally finds someone he connects with, someone who is willing to literally rob a heavily guarded safe at Windermere for him. And now he's going to have to mourn him. Brad Cooper was just at the hospital pushing Lucas to do whatever it takes to save Britt. But nobody warned Lucas that the cost might be Marco's life. Ava Jerome tried to warn Lucas. She literally told him he was walking into a trap. Ava is always right, guys. We should always listen to Ava Jerome. She knows when the vibes are off, and the vibes at Windermere have been off since Sidwell moved in. Lucas is going to blame himself for this, and I just cannot watch him go through another agonizing grieving process. I am just dreading the next few episodes. We have this massive Windermere dinner party coming up that Sidwell is hosting. Carly helped plan it, which is already a recipe for absolute disaster. But imagine if the party is happening, everyone is dressed up, Lucy Coe and Ava Jerome are bickering over appetizers, and then someone finds Marco's body. Or what if Cullum shows up to the party with the bloody knife just to send a sick message to Sidwell General Hospital? Spoilers have been hinting that Sidwell's party arrangements could spiral into disarray and give rise to unsettling revelations. I swear to you, if the unsettling revelation is Marco's corpse being served up as a plot device, I am writing a strongly worded letter to the network. I cannot handle that level of macabre right now. We watch soaps for drama, yes, but not for relentless, depressing gore. So here I am venting to all of you because I know you guys get it. You understand the absolute emotional toll this show takes on us. We invest our time, our tears, and our sanity into these characters. Adrian Achondo brought so much nuance to Marco Rios. He made a character who could have been a one-note villain's son into someone layered, vulnerable, and ultimately heroic. If Eva LaRue is right and he is on to the next great thing, then I wish him nothing but the best. He deserves a massive career after how well he handled this material. But as a fan of General Hospital, I am devastated. I am hoping against hope that maybe Cullum just wounds him. Maybe Marco goes into a coma. Maybe he gets amnesia and wakes up thinking he's a Quartermain. I will take literally any soap opera trope in the book over a permanent death. Please, GH writers, if you're listening, put the knife down. Let Marco live. Give us this one win.